Hey guys, welcome to another edition of Monkey Has Nothing Better to Do, so he's going to talk at you. I hope everyone is well. Hey, Scribbles, yes, I am at it again. Let me know if you want to join and I'll bring you in. Goes for you too, Tailed. If you want to come hang out, I'm happy to host you. I wasn't sure I was going to do this, and then I popped onto Twitter, and God, I really got to stop doing that. Let's go back to the beginning, shall we? We discussed this last night on Lords of the Night, and yeah, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, or however the fuck you say that, tweeted this out last night. She said, "It is well past time we eliminate the Electoral College, a shadow of slavery's power on America today that undermines our nation as a democratic republic." And I simply pointed out, being that stupid, I don't understand how she finds the door. Oh, and good morning, everybody. It's nice to see everyone. Anyway, this statement, I don't care if you disagree with the Electoral College. I'll disagree with you about it because it is actually a very good system that was put into place to make sure that no two large states or three large states could tell the entire rest of the country what to do. But the idea that it undermines our republic, that's fucking stupid. It's really fucking stupid. In fact, it was put into place to help guarantee the republic status that the Constitution gives all states, that all people, we are guaranteed a Republican form of government. And by the way, Democrats, that doesn't mean as in the Republican Party. It means that we are not a monolith. We are individual states. That's why states get their own governors. And anyway, as stupid as this is, we've gone from that in this fucking thread that has popped up in the last couple of hours to people saying it's time to abolish the Senate because it's not fair that people have two senators from all states. It's not fair because California is bigger and they have more people, so they shouldn't have to have the same power as what, fucking Utah? I don't know, some other fucking little state. And it's just amazing to me how many people have jumped on board this and they're like, yeah, get rid of the Senate. Shut up, you're dumb. You're just dumb. Grand Monkey won't be here. She's actually gone. She's with Grandma right now. That's why I'm actually streaming. I would have been streaming. It would have been Monkey in the morning if they had left earlier or if she hadn't been here, because we had to get up and have donuts together. That's our tradition. Me and her have little chocolate donuts for breakfast when she's with us. Anyway, you have to keep distracting me with fun stuff when I'm trying to be angry over this dumb shit. Yeah, so abolish the Senate. That's the new one. And it's only because of the vote yesterday. It's because they lost. They didn't get their way. And frankly, they would have still got their way if Harry Reid hadn't have fucked the whole system with his nuclear option to get judges passed. And he was told then, don't do it. You're gonna regret this shit. See, it used to take 60 votes to get a judge confirmed. And there were a whole bunch of federal judges that were being held up. And granted, yeah, the Republicans should have fucking voted for him, or at least voted on him. And they didn't. So Harry's like, okay, we're going to just make it a 50-vote lead because they had a majority. And then they lost their majority. Whoopsie. And when Merrick Garland came up and wasn't given a vote, which again, is based on a Democrat rule, they got all pissy. So when Gorsuch came up, they were like, no, we're not voting. So Harry said, all right, not Harry, Mitch McConnell's like, fine, we'll do the nuclear option for this too. And now it's down to just one vote matters in the Senate on these things. Monkey, how can we have a dictatorship with a Senate? You're not wrong. The idea that we don't need a Senate or an electoral college is it's from people who might think they're doing good. I don't think they're necessarily bad people. They're just not really sure what's going to happen in the real world if they do that. Very much the same as they weren't sure what was going to happen when they were all cheering Harry Reid, saying, we're going to we're going to pull the nuclear button here and make it a simple majority to elect judges. Because they don't fucking think. Can you talk about Merrick Garland, what happened to him, who he was? Merrick was Obama's nominee to replace Justice Anton Scalia when he died. But it was in the last year of his presidency. And there's a Democratic rule that had been passed, or not necessarily passed, in place, where you don't necessarily have to vote on a judge in the last bit of a president's term in office. So they just decided not to vote on him at all, and then Trump got a new candidate, and they picked him. They didn't like the outcome, so let's throw our Constitution out the window. Yeah, that's what it boils down to. People, I have not seen anybody talk about this since the election, but right before the election, there was the idea that Donald Trump could win the popular vote, but that Hillary would still win the Electoral College. And there were all kinds of articles out there where this would be fine, but watch, Trump supporters will lose their mind if this happens. And then the opposite happened. And oops. Yeah. Suddenly all of their excuses for, why Trump should still accept everything went out the window as they decided it's just not a good idea anymore. One idiot in this conversation is now turned it into, well, isn't it basically the same as affirmative action? Although they support affirmative action. So it's kind of a weird comparison to have made. Yay, more monkey in my life. I'm glad you enjoy it. I expected to see a lot of whining today. I really did. We saw a lot last night. But it's when they start saying we need to change the form of government. Government itself, the way we pick our leaders and stuff is bad. To the point, seriously, they want to fucking end the Senate. The 60 vote was to invoke cloture. There's an I in that, isn't there? Ending the debate. I can never say that word right anyway. They mean closure. Why don't they just say closure, fuckers? Good morning, Alan. Yeah, but it still took a 60 vote to get anybody through Congress. Well, any judge through Congress. And it was the Democrats who fucked that all up. I'm seeing it from people I didn't expect, says Nuts. Yet, I haven't seen it from anybody I didn't expect. Institute Thunderdome. I'm with you, Scribe. Let's just have these fuckers fight it out and last man standing wins. Although, be some old ladies getting beat up in Congress at that point. That seems kind of mean. Did you guys see the video of the two idiots dancing around an old guy holding signs in support of Kavanaugh? He had a sign that says something like she's a good liar, and the other one said Trump. And there's these two fucking idiots dancing around, two young people. This is an old guy. I mean, like white hair, looks like he stands like I do. And they're dancing around him, chanting. And then they slap his signs. Like, what is... And these are the kind of people who think we need to get rid of, that we should listen to them on how we change government. Yeah, that's what I'm going to listen to. They were still running in the streets of Annapolis, Maryland at 3 p.m. DC. Yeah. These, they're morons. You lost. Worst case scenario, you have a guy now who's going to read the Constitution when he makes decisions. And I know that is a worst case for some of them. Kevin Assassin, you didn't miss much. We have people now not only calling for the end of the Electoral College, but the end of the Senate, which is stupid. Here's the thing, guys. Your representation, the thing that makes it so that it's not fair is the House of Representatives. That's why a state like California, a state like New York, has a lot more representatives than a state like, let's say, North Dakota, because there's a whole lot more people there, and so they get a lot more representation. The Senate is there to represent the states. Each state gets the same number of senators, so that no state is more powerful, so no state can say, hey, yeah, we want a Merrick Garland in there, so we're going to get together, just 3 states, and decide for the whole rest of the country. That's not how it's supposed to work. Oh, so a regular day. Cool. Yeah. It's amazing to me. How can you be this butthurt over this decision? And especially when you're not even paying attention to the fact that this was set up by the Democrats. They made this happen. Abolish the 17th. They'll really flip their shit. You're not lying. It's not the president's call. It's a Senate rule. Which one? What are we talking about? For those who think the Electoral College is a bad thing, I understand the arguments for it, but part of that is our educational system, because people have it in our head that we're one country, which we are, but we are also individual states. We are a republic, and no couple of states is supposed to tell everyone else what to do. That's why it is rare for somebody to win the Electoral College and not the popular vote, but it can happen because it's supposed to. It's set up that way. And why? Because men smarter than any asshole on Twitter sat down and went, we need to make sure shit doesn't go fuck wire. Anyway. Closure vote. You guys need to be a part of the empire again. Tailed. No, we've seen what's been going on over there. We like our freedom of speech and our ability to tell cops to go fuck themselves and things that would get you guys in jail. Abolish the 13th, the relic of pro-slavery past. Oh my God. Yeah, if we had to get rid of everything that was what was our wording again? Hey, what was it? A shadow of slavery's power on America today. No, it's not. You're a fucking idiot. God, how did this woman get elected? I understand that she's in a very liberal district, but she's a fucking moron. Fucking moron. Absolute monarchy when hell freezes. We got our guns and stuff, man. We don't put up with no monarchy. The name is misleading. The Electoral College is not a real college, and they don't have electric-based powers. You're not wrong, Jack. Did they even have electricity back when they set that up? Them were some lying bitches. I was asking if the vote for confirmation should be changed back to 60. Oh, okay. I see, Boatman. You accidentally said Trump. Gotcha. Michael, thank you. Good morning. Happy to see everybody here. They could go back to 50. It would take a Senate, or 60. It would take a Senate rule, but it's not going to happen now. It's not going to happen now that they've tasted that power. Both sides have tasted that power. And that's part of the reason why people want to get rid of the Electoral College and now apparently the Senate. It's because they've tasted the power of absolute mob rule. And that's what democracy is, guys. Like it or not. Democracy, mob rule. It's popular vote. The majority wins. What tobacco do I use? I use actually I smoke cigarettes that are made with pipe tobacco. Why? Because it gets around all the taxes in my state. It's the 24-hour monkey show. No, I actually slept a long time last night. I got off here. I think we got off around 2. I went to bed at 3 and I didn't wake up till 9ish. So that's like a whole extra hour. Oh, nuts. Thank you so much for throwing my Streamlab links in there. I should probably turn that on. So if people would like to donate there to one of my many monkey-centric charity causes, and when I say charity, I mean money going to me, for me to buy ramen and other things, they could do that. There we go. Get that signed in there. Take 5 minutes if you guys want that, because for some reason it takes 5 minutes for them to allow you to get a donation. Leftists don't really want to go mob rule. Conservatives own most of the guns. Well, it's only mob rule. What they want is mob rule when it comes to deciding the government. Who the president is should all be decided. And again, this was the weird part. Before the election, there were a lot of people who thought Hillary was going to lose the popular vote. Polls were kind of swaying that way. They still thought she would win the Electoral College, which, by the way, how wrong were they? She got her ass kicked in that. She did win the popular vote. So it turned out the opposite of what a lot of people thought was going to happen. And the reaction turned out how most of us who pay attention knew it was going to happen. Did you see that Andy Worski is doing a live stream right now trashing Blair White? No, but I'm not surprised. I mean, Monkey in the Morning Part 6, Dawn of the Monkey. Yeah, kind of. Again, any of the regulars who want on, let me know. Send me message and I'll send you the link. How's Lady Monkey and Grand Monkey? They're good. They went to church, and Little Butt didn't really want to leave because she's under the impression she's not going to be allowed to come back after it, that she'd just go home with her mom and dad. She may or may not come back, but she was really not happy to leave this morning. It was kind of sad. Again, Monkey, damn, you really don't stop. I like talking. I enjoy entertaining. And if this isn't entertaining, damn it, then I'm failing miserably. Andy's stream was stupid. I don't know what he was bitching about Blair White for, so I don't think she did anything really controversial lately, did she? But you have Medicare out there with his daily Sunday Skeptics Suck streams, which are fine. I mean, I don't have a problem with them doing it, but how do I want to put this? Fuck it, I don't care. If you're a dick rider of Medicare and you want to get on his good side, make sure you're jumping on that same bandwagon. He's saying she's fake. This from a man who set his nipples on fire on stream, and not because somebody paid him to, but because he was in a doped up haze. Do we want? Whose word am I going to take? I don't care. If you like what Blair does, watch Blair. If you like what Andy does, watch Andy. Everybody's so like, we got to tear everybody down, and it's not tearing people down necessarily for their ideology. That's the weird part of it lately. It's I'm all for, look, hey, this guy's an idiot. This is the stupid shit he said. But even Shane Dawson's Jake Paul series right now, it's just kind of, at least the parts I've seen. Let me preface this by saying I have not watched all of it, but it just seems to jump on Jake's dick because he's popular and just talk about him a little bit. And we had the episode where they went into his psychology because he does stuff for the camera. Come on. Exactly. If you don't like what's on, change the channel. Yeah, and I don't care what, I mean, I'm not trying to tell people what they can and cannot do. Do it by all means. Knock yourself out. But there's this especially against the skeptics right now, this need to jump on anybody because they were ever skeptical of feminists. Yeah, because that's the sign that somebody's an asshole, that they don't agree with feminism. It's weird. It's actually weird that's the thing they've decided to go after. Never, of course, supporting feminist ideology or SJW ideology. It's just, watch how dumb this guy is. Well, maybe. Is Blair fake? I don't know. I've had 2 interactions with Blair. One when she came on our show, and one where she agreed to come on the show and then just left me hanging an hour beforehand. I was like, excuse me, what's going on? And she'd actually jumped on a flight to go to, was that for VidCon that year? I don't remember, but yeah. So those have been my 2 interactions with her, and I don't really have an opinion either way. I thought the second one was a little bit rude because she never. We talked about this like several days, and she's like, "Yeah, I'll be there," and then just nothing. All you had to do is say, "Hey, I can't make it." Cool, no big deal. Technically, her boobs are fake, so she's partly fake. Well, of course, her boobs are fake, but I'll have to watch Andy's thing, see what it goes into. I don't get notices of his videos or anything because I don't follow him on the YouTubes, and he has me blocked on Twitter. I don't even know why. I'm not sure what it was I did to piss him off. I wasn't even being mean. Jester, you calling monkey? Who's calling me trash? That's not nice. Let's see. Watch Andy since he stopped making good videos. Or I haven't watched Andy. Yeah. I still don't hate Andy. I just think he lost his mind there before he came back. And I hope he got help while he was gone, because if that wasn't drug induced, holy shit. But I can't imagine what it's like to get to where Andy was, because Andy was at the pinnacle there for a while, and then for it all to just fall to shit. This isn't like losing a job. This is like being the CEO and then coming back the next day and you're the mail boy pushing around a little cart to everyone's office. That is a hard fall to take. And to do it so publicly, that's got to be hard as hell. Okay, let's see. The first contestant. Hang on a second, guys. Busy. There we go. Not really busy. I was sending an invite to one of our usual people who come and hang out and talk with me. Apparently someone told Linda Sarsour on Twitter to shut up about Kavanaugh because Ford didn't have the 4 male witnesses needed under Sharia law. Oh, fuck. Oh, I wish I could have read that. These YouTubers that are considered elite have really gone off the deep end as of lately. It's hard for me to comment on that because I still like a lot of the guys, and for the record, I still like Ralph Retort, and I think he did a good job building his show. And I don't hate Medicare, but I do think it's funny how many times Medicare will pick a subject and suddenly that's what everybody does. And then Medicare makes fun of people who have done that kind of stuff. And I almost think it's like a shot at them and they don't even notice because, he laughs along with them until he turns on them, which is inevitable because for him, it's all a joke. And I kind of respect that, but I don't know. It's hard to watch. It's hard to watch knowing that this is going to happen to these guys. Fourth Doctor is the best Doctor. I don't watch Doctor Who. I never have. I watched a couple of episodes of it, and I was like, this looks worse than the 60s Star Trek. I can't watch this. Polly, good morning.
Morning.
How you doing today?
I'm almost sober.
Almost?
Yeah.
How did that happen?
I got a call from a girl who wanted to hang out and talk, meaning drink, and then got dropped off not too long ago. So I've had a couple hours to detoxify. It's good. I'm good.
Cool.
Yeah.
Jack, you're right. Medicare has no loyalty, but people always seem to think he's on their side. Suckers. Yes. And I don't have a problem with Medicare like that because he makes it so obvious. But man, you get those views when he starts popping on your stream for a little while.
I've got mixed feelings about Medicare.
So do I. I like his videos. I do.
Yeah, and the guy's got charisma and the ability to.
Indeed,
he's got the gift of gab, like few do. But I don't know. I just can't get over when IBS got popular and then he started showing up on different channels, and I heard him talk about his worldview and how incredibly black-pilled he presented himself to be. Maybe that was all a put on, but I found him to be a very depressing guy when you listen to him talk about the world and what he thinks of it. It's just like, really?
I was actually thinking about this because if you listen to George Carlin back in the day, he had a very bleak worldview. He was a fan of entropy, and if you just think he was telling jokes, you should listen to him talk on actual interviews and stuff. And Medicare comes across that way to me as well. Not necessarily a fan of entropy, but just a fan of the shit going on around him. And I don't think he actually has any ideology or anything he believes in. He just believes in blowing shit up, which is fine if that's what you're. It's just not for me, and I do feel bad for the people who get suckered in the interim, as Jack was saying. These people think he's on their side, and I don't think Medicare has a side. I kind of think Gamergate broke him.
But okay, you know what? That's not I don't completely disagree with that. As for Gamergate having broken him or at least changed his perspective rapidly. Adam Mangold asked, "What's black pill?" Yeah, it's kind of a phrase that gets thrown around. Like blue pill is, you're suckered into thinking the world is as it would be presented to you, obviously from the Matrix films. The red pill is where you take the red pill and you see the world as it actually is. Black pill is a step beyond, where you become a cynical son of a bitch, and everything
Yep.
is the worst version of what it could be. You become that depressing guy. You know, we're all going to hell. Everything's fucked. That's being black pilled. The I don't believe this thing that Medicare doesn't have a side. Did you see the Short Fat Otaku when they were the dumping with Scrump on Short Fat Otaku's channel when they were talking with the guy who used to hang out with Jim back on the actual Medicare website?
Oh no, I didn't. I've seen bits and pieces of it. Real quick, Lindsay, Medicare didn't do anything now. It was that this just came up because of what other people are doing, and um, we'll get back to that in a second. What happened on the short fat otaku thing?
It's just talking to somebody who knew him 10 plus years ago. It's that he hasn't really changed, and the point that he kind of pounded home is that Jim, along with a number of other people, were very, very interested in their anonymity. And part of the trolling culture, especially amongst their group at the time, was you never take a position on anything because that opens you up to being trolled. I care about, I don't know, whatever, global warming. They're going to attack you on global warming now and do so relentlessly.
Yep, I can. Yeah, that fits perfectly, actually.
You know, and he made that point a big way. And this was 10 plus years ago that he was saying this. It doesn't surprise me that Jim is still doing that now, considering he's doing now exactly what we were doing 10 years ago. The lack of position means you float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. You can't be held down to any one thing. And I think you see it very powerfully with Jim when Sargon and Jim were debating on Louis Laval's channel, the one time they actually went head to head. Well, Jim, I think you agree with me on a lot of these liberal values. These are independent liberal values. Let me live my life. Don't interfere. Low government interference. I think you agree with me. Jim's immediate response was, really? What do I believe in? Why don't you tell me? Give me examples. He has to immediately turn it around. You aren't going to pin me down to saying, I agree with X.
Which would make sense because the only time you do see him take a firm position is like with the furries, and it's because we're talking disgusting furry stuff,
right?
I mean, he might give him a little bit of shit for wearing costumes, but that's not what he's going after. He's going after them like abusing animals and having sex with dead animals. Nobody's going to come up and go, well, that's not a very good position to take, Jim. Now, I want to be clear here, guys. I like Medicare. I do. I just think. The reason this came up is because Andy is going after Blair, apparently. And I think a lot of people will see Medicare jump on something. And right now he's riding the skeptic train. And they won on his coattails. Because maybe he'll come on their show and give them a huge bump. And that is my problem with a lot of creators right now. So many of them are on the do your thing. I'm not telling you not to, but it's why I don't watch as many creators as I used to. Let me put it that way. I don't hate them for it. Hey, if it works for you, awesome. I've always been of the opinion if you can entertain a crowd, entertain that crowd, because I'm all for entertainment. It's just not for me.
There's been very few Jim streams that I haven't tuned in on. I know when I got sick of Sargon talking about Jim halfway through his stream, turned it off. And then when I realized Jim was doing a response stream, I didn't even turn it on. I was like, I just don't want to hear this.
The Sargon Jim stuff, I could not care less about.
Yeah. It was like, you guys are pecking at each other. It's going to be done in a week or maybe a little longer, whatever, but I'm just not going to follow it. That was my call. Other than that, yeah, I watch the majority of Jim streams. Fuck yeah, he's entertaining. Of course he is.
Jim he's like, I hate to give him this kind of status, but it's true. To me, he reminds me very much of Carlin because of it would be hard to pin down George Carlin's actual politics if you actually watch, because he's all over the place. But he was just a fan of mocking things. He was pointing at stupidity. And that's where I see Jim as awesome as fuck. If there is something stupid said, he will jump all over it and make you laugh your ass off at it. And I enjoy that about it. And it's why I enjoy most of his videos. There was one, the Kilroy video he did. There was some stuff he left out or missed, and it annoyed me just a little bit because I've always thought, hey, he's really thorough. But that was the first time I had more direct knowledge. But even then, it was entertaining and funny. Jim ain't scared. Like I said, Jim is a rare beast, and I do feel sorry for people who think he's on their side, because he's not. He's Jim is out to have fun, even at the expense of people who were just friendly with him a moment ago. Let's see. That's not what do you think of the idea of getting rid of the Senate?
Who's offering that idea? What?
There was a conversation because of what Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez said yesterday, where she said that we need to eliminate the Electoral College, a shadow of slavery's power on America today that undermines our nation as a democratic republic. And from that conversation, there's people who started to suggest that just like the Electoral College, we need to get rid of the Senate because it doesn't represent the will of the people. It's not a one man, one vote kind of thing because, every state gets 2 senators.
Yeah. Okay. Look, I get that idea. Just one man, one vote, but this is an Athenian democracy. It's a republic. Indeed. And that's an old beaten on drum to beat on, but it's true. I mean, it is a collection of states, hence the name United States of America. The whole point is that states are extremely powerful political entities inside the system. Is it not surprising? I don't think it's surprising at all that the system was set up in such a way to balance the political and the political interests of each state individually with the power of the people. And ultimately, the House of Representatives has the ability to outweigh the Senate anyway. So what's the problem?
Well, the problem is because of yesterday.
Right. I guess that was a dumb question to ask.
Yes, because the one place the House can't override the Senate, there's 2 actually. It's treaties and judicial nominations, because those only go through the Senate. They that's where the advise and consent part comes in. So there were people who didn't get their way, and now the Senate's a bad thing because if it was equal, if the House got to vote yesterday, it would have went the same way because they're Republican, you idiots. Oh, sorry.
That's very short-sighted. You think they just still would have argued as they did in November 2016 that the Electoral College needs to go, because then you wouldn't have Trump and then you wouldn't have nominations that they don't like.
Well, that's where the whole Electoral College thing comes. It's very short-sighted. I was talking earlier, I don't know if you saw this before the election, but there was the chance before the election, according to polls, that Donald Trump could have won the popular vote, but not the Electoral College. There were several articles about this, and everybody's like, that's okay because that's what the Electoral College is for. And then as soon as it happened the opposite way, like, oh, the Electoral College is horrible. It's the most horrible thing ever. We need to get rid of it. Shroom just said, check out the video I just tweeted to you. Okay, I won't be able to check it out right now because I'm live here, but I will give it a look. Yeah, I think a lot of politics these days is short-sighted, or at least what people chant for is short-sighted.
You weren't swayed by hey, hey, ho, ho, Kavanaugh's got to go? That didn't.
No, they almost had me until the very last, until go. They had me. Yeah, a lot of the people that I see whining about like the Electoral College and stuff had no problem when Harry Reid changed the votes from 60 to 50 to simple majority for confirming judges.
Right.
And at that time, Mitch McConnell said, don't do this. You're going to regret it. He's actually quoted as saying that.
Yeah.
And they did regret it, but nobody was like, don't do this, Harry, because everybody's like, oh, well, we have to get this done because Republicans are obstructing. It's a bunch of short-sighted nonsense. Did I see last night's fight? I didn't. Was that last night? Who won? The Khabib-Conor fight. Nothing blew up, so I'm assuming Khabib. Oh, that's not right. He won for the Nation of Islam. Did he win? I don't know who won that one. Are you a fan of MMA?
I am not.
Me neither. I like boxing.
I like being at a pub and watching it and not really knowing the politics and the records of the people that are behind it. And I tend to like the less than title card fights, if that makes sense. The smaller, lighter weight rye fighters is the ones that I tend to enjoy.
The fight ended in a riot. For real?
Yeah. What was that? Like, I saw a whole bunch of stuff going on Twitter and a couple of people I follow on YouTube. I was like, things popped off after it. Like, what?
Well, who won the bout though? Was it just like a draw? Yeah, and that's Toasted Network says MMA can get pretty gay, and that's why I don't watch it. A good fight when you got strikers and they're both can take a punch, that can be awesome. Oh, Khabib won. Okay. But when it's just two guys rolling around on the ground holding each other for what, 5 minutes at a time, I'm okay. I don't need to watch
like that intensive Brazilian grappling kind of thing.
No, it's boring to me. It's really boring. I want to see somebody get knocked the fuck out. I don't want to see somebody quit because their arm is bent sideways. No, give me boxing, kickboxing. I love those, but not. And I've saw somebody when I said that once, like, well, boxers hug, like, yeah, and then they get separated because nobody wants to watch that shit. Struggle snuggle. Yeah, it's just not. I don't find it exciting. So yeah, we now have a move not just to change the Electoral College, but to get rid of the Senate.
Well, I think you're pretty generous in calling it a move. I don't think there's a lot of political will in the American polity for that.
I think you'll be surprised, especially after this decision yesterday. I think you'll be surprised by how many people start talking about it.
Okay, there was lots to talk about, like, it was a holdover from colonial times, et cetera, as related to the Electoral College, and what came of it. There's no state will for it. There's no will in the Congress for it. And rightly so. Fuck off. It just comes across as bitter salt mining, in my opinion.
I hope you're right, but I still laugh at these people because the short-sighted line is probably the most accurate. These are the same kind of people that if anytime they don't get their way, it's going to be, we need to change something.
Well, thankfully, the system was designed to be very difficult to change and very slow to change over time. And it's worked pretty successfully for 242 years, dating from 1776. So that's pretty good.
I just wonder what happens when the people who are coming up today, when you and I are old men, if it'll still be that way.
Well, you can speak from that perspective now. What do you think?
Did you just call me an old man, you asshole?
Yeah, I'm surprised you let me get away with that.
I do think, because I remember hearing about problems with the Electoral College even before Bush Gore. There was rumblings about it here and there, but yeah, I see it getting louder and louder every time. It doesn't go their way. We'll see. I don't know. I hope it stays the way it is. I hope the states stand up and go, look, you guys are morons. But
the argument I always come back to is, why should California, with a large population and, the coastal port access that it has and the giant economic status that it has, as well as New York, why should they be able to dictate how tiny little Rhode Island or New Hampshire gets to live?
Well, see, that's what these idiots don't get. One of the problems is we've made the president so powerful. That is an issue. And instead of reining in his power, everybody's like, well, we just need to directly elect him, basically. Or her, sorry. A few women out there still holding out hope, her. But governors were supposed to be just as powerful as the president. The president was a figurehead for all intents and purposes. He had very, very little power. If you read the Constitution, the president does not have much power at all. But these days,
it exists largely in precedent. Fair enough.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if he was held to that, if states were allowed to actually run themselves for the most part, then it wouldn't matter. It wouldn't matter at all. But we, Jack. Sure. Yeah, look, we might have a female president one day. Hopefully I'm dead, because they'll track down everybody who said women shouldn't vote. And I never said that. Women just shouldn't. Their vote shouldn't matter. How you doing this Sunday morning, man? I didn't even ask that.
I'm doing well. Actually, I got a question for you.
Yeah, what's up?
I was thinking about this, and we had like a mini debate there related to Sargon and his actions in terms of deplatforming. Now, this has kind of come up before, but I kind of wanted to put you to task a little bit more on it. Timing people out in chat or kicking them right the fuck out. Is that limiting their free speech? I mean, clearly it's not in terms of like First Amendment, because it's not the government acting. But then again, it wasn't Twitter acting as the government when they shut down on what's her name? Chrisiosity. So I heard you respond one time on Lords of the Night where you said, well, this is my own environment and et cetera, et cetera. And I'm like, okay, but could you not see your chat? Devil's advocacy I'm going for here. I don't even know if I disagree with your position, but this is your own little fiefdom, as it is Twitter's own little fiefdom. Are you not behaving in a censorious manner? Yes, no? I'm curious what you think on this.
Okay, I'll answer that in 1 second, but let's bring everybody up to speed. So anybody who wasn't paying or wasn't here yesterday or hasn't heard this before, Polly and I were talking about Sargon yesterday, and I told him that Sargon lost me when he turned Chrisiosity into Twitter and got her, I think she ended up with a 7-day suspension over it. And I said he lost me because he claims to be a free speech advocate, and that was him directly causing her speech to be silenced. Fair enough description, Polly?
Yeah, I think so.
All right. So your question is timing people out or even booting them from my chat. Is that not the same?
Yeah, I frankly only remember one person that got booted, and I actually agree with your call on that, because dumb fuck said some stupid shit he shouldn't have said, and that was that.
Yeah, only one person.
And it was obvious they were just trying to make you angry. It wasn't a matter of disagreement over a matter of fact or policy or anything. It was just the guy was trying to get to you.
No, he made comments about having sex with my grandchild. And,
okay, I didn't want to say it, but yeah, like when you bring Grand Monkey into it, it's like, yeah, I understand why you did what you did. It makes total sense. I agree.
Cryptic, thank you. Did I hear you compromise for women's vote to be 3/5 instead of outright repeal of the 19th? No. I think they should get a 100% vote that doesn't count. Here's the difference. On YouTube, even the guy that I kicked off my channel, he can go anywhere else and say whatever he wanted to. Chrisiosity was absolutely silenced on Twitter for whatever the time period was. If Sargon had just muted her or blocked her, I'd have no problem with that. Blocking is not a violation of free speech, guys. I hear people all the time. I thought you were a free speech advocate. Go say whatever the fuck you want to say. You just can't say it on his page. That's not stopping you from speaking. It's stopping you from him having to hear it, and that's different. Okay. So when it comes to being, bopped in chat, or the one time, I kicked somebody right the fuck out, they can still go anywhere else they want on YouTube and say whatever stupid shit they want to say. I didn't stop their ability to speak.
Okay, so by extension, I mean, Chrisiosity has other routes of social media that she can go for. She didn't have her vocal cords removed. She could still speak and type and every other damn thing. It was just in one area.
But it was for that whole platform. See, that's where my issue comes in. If I had gone to YouTube over that idiot who the one we just talked about, and had him absolutely removed for that, then that would be the same thing, in my opinion.
Okay, so let's just say, for the sake of argument, again, I'm just
I enjoy this. This is a good.
I'm just doing
by all means, challenge me on it. I'm happy.
I'm just curious because I know you had some real strong views on free speech. So I'm just curious what the boundaries of it are and so forth. So let's say that I had a access to your channel, God forbid, and had a show that I ran on your channel. And then you didn't like some things I said. So you kicked me the fuck off your channel and changed your password. Would that be censorship?
That's a good question. Because using the idea that you could still set up your own channel, no. If it was because of something you said that I didn't like, yeah, I would say that's a form of censorship. Sure.
Huh. Okay.
But again, it's not complete. It would be different again, though, in that you can still speak. You just can't do it on my channel. Because what he did to her, he made it so she could not speak on Twitter. He went and she had no, it's not like she could go talk to her friends or whatever. She could not, post on Twitter. Let's say she had access to his timeline that, they shared an account and he kicked her off his account, but she could still post. Again, I wouldn't have a problem with that. To me, it was the silencing. That's what he did. He silenced her. He didn't just take her voice away from this little part. Look, now you can't talk.
Okay. SDW 175 said no, because it's Monkey's channel in all caps. And I get that. And I can actually understand that. And again, I'm not really trying to argue my own personal position on this. I'm just seeing what Monkey thinks about it.
No, for the record, guys, I'm not offended by this at all. I challenge myself as often as anybody else does. And I prefer it when somebody else does, because they see things that I don't. And if Polly here were to catch me in an actual hypocrisy, that would cause me a lot of issues, but it would also make me rethink my position and make a better argument. Real quick, Michael, thank you. If you tie yourself to someone else's brand, they can kick you off that brand. Social media is different. Well, it would still be censorship. Polly's right about that, because I would, if it was, let's say me and Polly shared this channel and Polly said, I think we should get rid of senators. And I'm like, no, bye. That would be me censoring him on my channel. But that's not silencing him. He could go to his own channel and go, Monkey's an asshole. And I would fully support that. I see you're getting into some very good nuances here. And I do appreciate the conversation. I don't think you're like being some asshole here. Please.
Oh, okay. So SDW, just to be clear, just said censorship / freedom of speech concerns the government, not the individual. I couldn't agree more. When people start talking about their freedom of speech and it's not state power that's being exercised against them, the fuck are you even talking about? Tends to be my call.
Here's what I say to that, because I do get that sometimes too. Freedom of speech is a principle I believe in. It's not just a law that happens to be part of my country. Which is why when it comes to this is why the Sargon thing pissed me off so much. Again, if you just blocked her, I don't care. That's fine. Is he silencing her? Kind of, because now she can't talk directly to him. Is she silenced? No, because she can still say whatever the hell else she wants to say. He just doesn't have to read it anymore. So there is a censorship and freedom of speech are different things. And I'm not a fan of censorship. I see where it can be useful, and there's times that it's called for. But when it comes to absolute silence, that's where I have my issue.
I mean, clearly we're talking about it at a lower level, because Sargon didn't report her to the UK government in some kind of way, if you know what I mean. So we're definitely talking about like non-state interference here, but it still is a bee in your bonnet. The reason why I was thinking about this is because after we had that discussion yesterday, I'm thinking, why am I not holding Sargon's feet to the fire over this? Well, not feet to the fire. Why am I not more pissed over it? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because I remember at the time thinking, ooh, that's a real bad look, Carl. But I forgot about it over time. It's like, why didn't I stay vexed? And I'm not sure. And so I'm trying to like figure out, what is it that I accept that you don't accept that's causing you to hold on to it or continue to remember it, and me not.
Here's what did it. Okay, if it was anybody else, chances are I'd be like, what a fucking asshole, and I probably would have forgot by now. But this is Sargon of Akkad, one of the biggest people in this genre, the biggest skeptics, and somebody who preaches free speech all the time. I mean, it's one of the things he whines about in. I don't want to say whine. One of the things he complains about, rightfully so, in many of his videos, and This Week's in Stupid, and.
Mm-hmm.
He's made it such a big part of his platform, and his reasoning for it is what pissed me off. I'm just doing what they would do. It's Rule 4 of Alinsky's Rules for Radicals, which is what's the wording? Make them live by their own rules or something like that.
Yeah.
And that rule turns you into a hypocrite. If it's not your rule, then you don't. You can point out that they're fucking hypocrites or that they're being assholes for that, but you don't let that make you the asshole. It's getting down in the mud. And as I said yesterday, I cannot listen to him ever say that he believes in free speech when he did this, because he doesn't. Because if he decides, oh, well, it's time to make them live by their own rules, free speech is right out the fucking window. He'll throw it out the window to win a point?
Yeah. The most damnable thing I think that could be said of Sargon's actions there, because I thought about it afterwards, is when he makes the statements about more freedom is the solution. He said that when he went to MythCon, not the most recent one, but the one last year. More freedom is the answer. Sunlight is the best disinfectant. The quote unquote Breitbart. So more speech is good, and then to act in the way where speech is lessened. The notion should be Christiosity, allow her to talk, because then if her ideas are bad and they're no good, then they won't receive an audience. And if your ideas are better, then they will, in the free marketplace of ideas, will gain a larger audience than hers. And, end of story. If her ideas are really that bad, you shouldn't need to shut her up.
Yeah. And what she said, by the way, was that she was going to harass him for the rest of his life. So it's not like this was a political disagreement. But still, I mean, literally all you had to do was block her, or he could mute her. He'd never have to see any of it.
Well, okay. What about what Prospero just said? It's an interesting question. If he apologized to her in the sense that a true apology, not like the ones my ex-girlfriend gave me, where it's like, I'm sorry you felt that way. But if I had to do it over again, I would do something different, and said he would never do it again. Would you forgive him? It's an interesting question.
If he gave a sincere apology, I would go, okay, and I might let it go, but I would definitely be on the watch for the next time. Because if this is one of your principal. If I were to come out, let me ask you that: if tomorrow it came out that I shut somebody down because of something they said to me on Twitter and got them kicked off Twitter, wouldn't that make you look at me different after everything I've said?
Yeah.
So this is, if he came out and apologized and said he'd never do it again, okay, well, the only thing you can do is never do it again for me to believe that. I do want to answer this one too. Monkey and Polity, is it limiting free speech when someone says something bad about the president and they get arrested for what they said? Is that limiting free speech? I've never seen anybody get arrested for saying something bad about the president. I've seen them arrested for threatening the president, and that's different. If they just said something bad, absolutely. If they're threatening the president, this is where we get into some weird stuff with free speech. I'm a free speech absolutist. I don't even think, unless it is a direct threat of physical violence where there's like a real possibility, and even then it's the violence or the threat, not the words. Take somebody like Charles Manson. I don't necessarily think he should be in jail. And I know but what? He didn't kill anybody. He told other people to do it, and they went and did it, and they're responsible for their actions. Him being a dummy. However, I do understand why society does that, so I don't make that my hill to die on. Because if you want to say a crazy dude who told people to kill people is just as responsible as they are, that's not all right. I'll give you that. I can give that one away. But if it's just the president's an asshole and they get arrested for that, fuck no. No, 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 no. That's wrong. Absolutely wrong.
Hashtag exonerate Manson. Okay.
That's right.
Got it.
Toasted is surprised by that. Well, what if I tell you to go do something right now and you go do it, which one of us is responsible, me or you? I didn't do it.
Okay, what about two people engaged in a criminal conspiracy? You and I are sitting around talking about robbing a bank and talking about it in extreme detail. We haven't actually robbed the bank, but we have been recorded surreptitiously planning to do so. All we were doing was engaged in speech.
I'm kind of a Columbo fellow on this. For those who don't know the show, you wait for him to commit the crime, and I know that's not going to be well received until they actually start going to do it. Look, if you and I right now, hey, you know, it'd be great to rob the Federal Reserve.
Mm-hmm.
Did I just commit a crime?
Well, let's say we talk about it with something in terms of anti-terrorism law. It's like two people sitting around talking about that they want to commit an act of terrorism is not a criminal offense until you start acting, and I love this phrase, credibly, which of course is a fuzzy definition.
Exactly.
Right?
And that's part, yeah. So again, this is not the hill I die on when it comes to criminal conspiracy and things like that. I understand why society wants it. I understand why they're not as hardcore free speech as I am. So I don't die on that hill. But if you ask my actual opinion, that's Manson is dead. Just to remind everyone, is he? I forgot he died.
Yeah, he's dead. Yeah.
Oh, poor Charlie. Poor Charlie.
Well, there's a hot quote for the day. Poor Charlie.
I mean, the guy was a dick. Don't get me wrong, and society was probably better off with him in a cage. But the people who did the murder there, I mean, he didn't stab anyone. Cryptic, thank you. So now Monkey is asking.
I mean, shit.
So now Monkey's asking for repeal of the Fifth. I did not. God damn it.
It's the third you're really after, isn't it?
It's all of them. I want to get rid of the Senate. Oh, Jesus. No,
I love the Third Amendment. It's the forgotten one.
Yeah. That's the quartering one, guys, for those of you who don't know. No quarter to, well, is it actually no quarter or no paid quarter? I forget. It's been so long since I've even cared about the third.
Unpaid quartering of soldiers in homes during peacetime.
Yeah.
Your homes can't be a barracks, y'all. And I've repeatedly argued, this is my own opinion, but I think it's one of the most American of all of the amendments because it provokes laughter when you tell it to most citizens.
Yeah, you're right.
And that laughter is extremely American because the idea that government soldiers would be quartered in your home in the sense of like we just take command of your personal property and do with it what we will, turn it into a barracks, for example, it's a laughable notion. No, that would never happen. And if it does, it's an outrage and a controversy and a travesty. Yeah, it's very American to think that way because believe me, for most of human history, it wasn't that way. But Americans think it absolutely should be. So it's a quintessentially American thing to laugh at a notion like that. That's great.
Well, the sad part is the income tax is the same way, but in reverse. Real quick, the 10th Amendment. The 10th Amendment is my favorite of all of them. And if we stuck to that, we would be a much better country. Things would be so much better. For those of you who don't know, that's the one that guarantees anything not in the Constitution granted to the government or to the federal government goes back to the states or the people.
Yeah. And identifies the people as the lone, unchecked and unbalanced political authority. People talk about the system of checks and balances. There's only one thing that lacks no checks nor balances, and that's the authority of the individual. And that's awesome.
Until, the people vote a certain way in a referendum and then their Supreme Court of that state overturns it.
Touche.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on what it should mean, but yeah. How do you feel about publishing confidential information, public records, company secrets, etc.? Is that free speech? Ooh, that's a good question. That's what I'm actually gonna have to think about. Because I want to say no, but I'm not sure why I want to say no. You've just fucked my mind up for a while, Dax, Mr. Dax. I'll have to get back to you on that.
For those that are interested, anyone who's nerdy enough to care, Pauline Maier, who's one of my favorite American history historians, and she's got credentials as long as my arm in terms of credibility to speak on these things. She wrote a book, and it was her final book before she passed away rather recently, which is sad, big loss to American history academia, called Ratification. And the book is with ratification of the Constitution and the debates that went on in and around it. The process itself lasted little more than a year, but the debates were heated. And as you read through it, entirely based on documents of the time, because she's a professional historian, properly so, you see the origin of the amendments and the idea that there should be a Bill of Rights at all, because the argument from a lot of the recent colonies now states was, no, every state has its own Bill of Rights. Why do we need a federal one at all? And the reason that it came about and the debates in and around them, you see the origin of them and the original intent of them. Again, Pauline Maier's book called Ratification, absolutely worth reading if you're interested. It really informs you as to the whats and the whys of the whole thing.
Real fast. Thank you, Cryptic. Kavanaugh's 6th was violated.
Well, he technically wasn't on trial.
Right. Yes and no. I think in principle, yes. In legalese, no. So, no individual's life, liberty, or property is safe while Congress is in session. You're not. Yeah. One of the things people have forgotten about the whole Constitution itself, including the Bill of Rights, especially the Bill of Rights, was the idea that a lot of people didn't want a Bill of Rights because they were afraid that that would be the only rights that people had. The enumerated rights would be the only, and that's why the 10th Amendment exists. And it is sad to me that so many people don't know it. They can list off the first, the second, maybe the fourth and fifth, but when it comes to the 10th, the one that gives them the most power, no fucking clue what it even says.
Yeah. And Crack just asked, like, weren't there a few fisticuffs as well? There were more than a few fisticuffs. There was outright rebellions. People love to quote Jefferson on the general idea, forgive me if I don't get it verbatim, was that the tree of liberty needs to be fertilized every so often with the blood of patriots and rebels. It is its natural manure. What was the context of him saying that? Because it's crucial. He wasn't talking about the American Revolution when he said it.
I've never heard.
He's talking about Shays' Rebellion.
Oh, okay.
So here you have a small group of like backwoodsmen who are operating their own grist mills, and we are not going to be taxed and come under the thumb of this far off distant federal government. Isn't that what we just fought a revolution over, etc.? And a gentleman by the name of Shay formed this rebellion, after which it was named. And General Washington himself, now an old man, mounted a horse to go put down this rebellion within the new United States. Fascinating to look into and to see why they did it, what Shay's and his countrymen's motivations for doing that were. And Jefferson, with his endless, dangerous flirtation with rebellion, that rebellion, every time it popped up, was a great thing. Yeah, that's what happens when you hang out in France when they're in the middle of the French Revolution and were never personally involved in the American Revolution, that you get a infatuation with rebellion that I think Jefferson had. I have to admit, just openly, I'm pretty critical of Jefferson. Just putting that out there, so there's a lot of bias from me. Anyway,
I like Jefferson. Mostly some of his I'm trying to figure out how to say this. We'll come back to that. I want to get to this question. Any opinion on the guy who doxed some Republicans and much more during the Ford Kavanaugh hearing, facing up to 50 years? I have no problem with that. One, he was using a computer he wasn't supposed to be. He did not have access to it. Well, he had access to it somehow, but he wasn't supposed to be using it. He didn't work there. if the reports are correct. He didn't work there, and he released this information specifically to harm the family of people he disagreed with politically. It's not free speech to release the confidential addresses of political opponents to get them harmed. That's he didn't go out there and argue against what they were doing. He's like, let's put your family in danger. Fuck that guy. But again, he did this on a computer he didn't have access to, so that alone is a crime, and several crimes. I'm not even sure they got him with wire fraud. Sorry, I get boring. Monkey is the charismatic one. You don't get boring. Who said you were boring?
Well, somebody just said history lessons with Polly, and it's like, oh God, I'm fucking doing the.
You know what? So many people need history lessons. We just need. I'll interject with racist comments once in a while or something. No, sexist. Sexist we can still do. Racist will get you kicked off. So remember, women should not be allowed to have a meaningful vote.
And Prospero made this. Jefferson deserves criticism for his support of the French Revolution and his fascination with Rousseau and the continental philosophy. Thank you. That's I mean, do you know how pissed off I got around this whole thing of like, have you even read Locke? Which Worski in a fast moment took as have you even read Loki?
Yeah,
like and Jim got on him. Of all people, it sounds like I'm just beating on Jim for no good reason, and I don't mean it to sound that way, but like Jim recognizes a good joke when he sees one. Like Indeed. That was funny, you know. It was funny, but it's like Jim's really into American freedoms, and he like takes statements out of the Declaration of Independence on a regular basis. Yeah, I could point out in various of John Locke's writings where Thomas Jefferson took direct quotes from to create the Declaration of Independence. Let's not beat up on Locke. Come on. But I still thought it was funny. I mean, Loki, shit.
Well, yeah, Jim, you were absolutely right. He recognizes a good joke, and it's been a joke since then. I mean, every fucking time I'm on one of his things, some jackass in chat, have you read Loki? Monkey, for the sake of argument, what about Cory Booker would have actually released information that was not allowed to be out yet?
Nothing is my opinion. Sorry, they're asking you.
No, you're absolutely allowed to answer any of these. Are you asking if I think he should have still got in trouble? Yeah, because he was violating Senate rules. Do I think he should have been arrested for violating for his speech? No, but he wasn't. That wasn't him speaking. That would be him releasing information. It's not like he got up there and gave a speech about what was in those things. He actually released documents. That's not speech. That's not free speech. And that's not what's meant by fucking free speech.
No, no, it wasn't. And particularly, I mean, everybody knows about his, martyr complex, the Spartacus comment, the whole thing. I mean,
Spartacus moment,
classic comedy, excellent. And Chuck Grassley's smart enough of an elder Senate seat holder that who said that? Never kill a man who's in the middle of committing suicide.
Oh yeah, yeah. I don't know, but I have heard that.
Like Grassley's smart enough to see that happening, right? And he's like, I'm just not going to fuck with this guy. And the party whip spoke up and said, this is terrible and you shouldn't be doing that, as is his responsibility to say so. But I mean, Booker had done himself in so bad, and it's not like they have the ability to level charges. What they can do is censure the man, and then also eject him from the Senate, given that there's enough senators that vote accordingly. But why? Like, it just, so what would have happened to him if he had actually released a document, although he claimed that they were not free to be released, even though they were? Nothing, because never kill a man who's trying to kill himself,
Yeah. I think that's what it is for me with the medical documents and stuff too, because it's not your speech. Now, there are rules about the HIPAA rules, where if you're talking about somebody's medical thing, you can be in trouble for that. So let's say you work in a pharmacy and somebody comes in because they need, I don't know, anal fissure medicine, whatever. And you're talking to a friend later about how somebody needed this. I don't think you should get in trouble for that. Now, if you're talking about them specifically, that's a little bit different because it is their medical record. And again, not a hill I want to die on. But if it's just like, if you're out there going, hey, you want so-and-so's medical record, that's not free speech. That's being a dick.
Oh, Prospero says, never interrupt your enemy when he is in the midst of making a mistake, or more or less attributed to Napoleon. Prospero's got all this stuff, man, just like that with her.
Prospero's smart as fuck.
Yeah, man.
That's why she's probably the one person I would let have a real vote. But it would only be worth half. Sorry. Because you are still a woman. If you booted Booker from the Senate, he would just weaponize it in his run for president. I think Booker's probably killed himself for president. I really do. You can't make it all about the women's and then run against women for the president.
Especially when you haven't found a woman that's special enough to marry yet.
When
you're pushing 50.
He's
that's a minor petty point, but I'm sorry. This is the way politics work on the national level. What do you want from me?
You know what would be great? To see him running as the vice presidential candidate for Elizabeth Warren. That would make my day.
the Warren Booker ticket.
Yes. I think the real question is, where does privacy invade free speech and vice versa? Yeah, that it is an interesting question. And we, for good reason, we are very protective of our medical information. And so on that one, I understand. There is no constitutional right to privacy, though, guys. It's talked about a lot. And if you look at, oh God, which one is it?
The fourth.
The government doesn't have a right to come in and look at all your shit, but that doesn't mean other people can't talk about it.
Can I just slip something in here?
Sure.
Fourth Amendment says, securing your person and papers, right? Oh, so if it's not written on dry, flattened wood pulp, that means that it's not secure, right? So electronic documents are free? No, because development of technology has come a long way, right? But under the Second Amendment, it should only cover muskets, right?
Indeed, right.
Just putting that out there.
You're right, and it is amazing to me that that argument, the Second Amendment, when these guys couldn't have thought that they'd be automatic weapons someday. Like, really? Do you know what changed even over their lifetimes?
They had pepper box pistols that shot multiple rounds. Cannon that no individual would be able to possess because it's beyond a small arm. The list goes on. I mean, no. Or early prototype Gatling guns were available at the time. The Gatling gun itself, was a later development. But the idea of rapid fire firearms, they were aware of what they're saying, and that's why they use the general term arms. Anyway, sorry, Second Amendment's a big thing with
Chaos asks, if women only get half a vote, does that mean I get 3/4 of one? No, you get half a vote. Don't try to wiggle more, woman. Damn. Let's see. I'm hoping DNC puts that knucklehead through, or that thought an island would flip. Oh, the one who thought Guam was going to flip over. Who was that?
Hold on, Guam was going to what?
There was was it a senator or a representative? I can't remember. They got up and talked about how you had to be careful because Guam could flip over.
To what? I'm not.
Literally, the island would flip over.
Oh.
They thought it was a floating island.
But I was just about to say, that's not geologically sound. That doesn't make any sense.
It's right up there with Zoe. No, not Zoe. Who's the Gamergator who ran for representative?
Oh, Brianna Wu with the moon rocks.
The space rocks.
Yeah.
we gotta protect the moon, because what if people get up there and throw rocks down to Earth? That's not how it happens.
The left needs to start thinking proactively, and I really am not a big fan of the left thing. But like, God, they can't meme. You can't have the Pocahontas Spartacus ticket of 2020, and in the same way, you can't be running people for Congress that are talking about moon rock bombs. I think it's too memeable.
I know a lot of people get mad about the labels left and right. When we talk about the left or liberals, you know who the fuck I'm talking about. Sofane is one of those guys who gets mad because you can't just lump everybody in the left. Like, look, if this doesn't apply to you, don't get mad about it. You know who I'm fucking talking about. I'm talking about the people who think you can throw fucking rocks from the moon. I'm talking about people who think that it's okay to beat up an old man while you're standing up for people who were assaulted. That happened yesterday. I don't know if you saw that video. They didn't actually hit him. They just slapped signs out of his hand as they danced and chanted around him. The people who are fucking lunatics, the ones that think that due process doesn't matter, and justify it by going, well, this isn't a trial. Well, then what the fuck are you talking about criminal activity for? You're having him testify about criminal activity, but it's not a trial. I'm fairly certain that's against the law. As a cripple, wouldn't you qualify for part of vote? No, as a cripple, I get 3 votes. Don't be ableist.
You can't have it both ways, man. It doesn't work like
that. To be fair, the feminists say the same about their "all men are evil" comments. Say what? Say what? I'm not sure what one. Oh yeah, and what about roundhousing women for women's rights? That's right. Yeah.
Chris R mentioned they had a muzzle-loaded 20-shot pistol with a revolver-like action. I'd like to see that.
That'd be cool. Lindsay says, Shu and Amazing Atheists are on the left, and they gladly take the piss out of loonies on their side. They do. And that's fair. I don't hate people or everybody who disagrees with me. I don't mind people who are on the left. I mind the fucking lunatics. That if it doesn't apply to you, you shouldn't assume it does and get upset over it. Oh, yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Talking about the all men are evil thing. Because there are, I'm using air quotes, feminists who aren't crazy. And no, I'm not going to go to Christina Hoff Sommers. I'll go to Talia. I fucking love her. She's awesome. She got in so much trouble way back in the Mike Tyson rape thing because she said women going up to a man's hotel room in the middle of the night know what's going to happen. They know what they're going up there for, and they shouldn't go up there if that's not what they're willing to give up. And what do you got? Okay, women in the audience, if you were going up to a man's hotel room at 2 o'clock in the morning while you've both been drinking, what do you expect he wants you there for? Now, that doesn't mean if you say no, he should still take it. But this is the, put yourself in a bad situation thing. If a woman invited me back to her hotel room at 2 o'clock in the morning, I would expect she wanted fucked. Because that's not a normal time to invite somebody back for coffee. I'm not saying you should take it if she says no. That's when you get up and go find someone else. But still, come on.
I'm a big fan of Seinfeld. I like that. I was a fan of the show. It was really sardonic. I remember this one episode where George Costanza, the neurotic of the crew, some woman, he drives her back after dinner. They have a nice date. She said, "Would you like to come up for coffee?" And he says, "No, I can't drink coffee this late at night. It keeps me up." And with his neurotic tendencies for the whole next day, he's like, "Coffee means sex. What's wrong with me? Why didn't I realize that?" That would probably be seen as really problematic today, wouldn't it? That whole discussion. It's like, no, she just wanted coffee, you misogynist pig.
Well, we've gotten to this place where we're acting like clear signs aren't clear signs, and maybe they aren't clear signs. Maybe you need to read people better, or inviting people back to your room in the middle of the night generally means sex, and I don't know why people don't know that. Keep yourself out of bad situations.
I mean, on the other side, I mean, Harvey Weinstein a number of times did invite incredibly sexy young actresses who were looking for their break back to his hotel room to discuss their career.
And they all knew what it meant.
It's like, really? You thought he wanted to discuss your career?
Yeah, the only place we can do that is when we're secluded behind my hotel room door.
I don't buy asking for it. I buy.
It's not asking for it. That's the thing, because and I've said this so many times. Rape is the only crime where prevention is seen as blaming the victim. I'm not blaming a victim here. don't put yourself in a bad situation. It's the same as if you leave your fucking car unlocked with the keys in it in a bad neighborhood. Do you deserve to have your car stolen? No. But I am going to tell you, you probably should have locked the door and taken your keys with you.
I don't know. Maybe I'm naive on this, but like a number of like I've felt the shoot down. I think every guy has at one point or another. If you say like, oh well, hey, why don't we go out for a drink or some coffee or whatever, and she says, well, she goes, that's very nice and I'm flattered, but I have a boyfriend. You think, oh. You know what I mean? Like if you invite a woman up to your hotel room and is it so hard to say, well, I don't really think my boyfriend would like that very much.
Or yeah,
and if the guy keeps talking past that point, you've kind of clued in as to what he's trying. You see what I mean?
I do. I'm with you. I think a large part of the problem is that a lot of these young women have been taught to see guys as their little girlfriends, and you invite your little girlfriend up to the room for even for a nightcap. You guys have a little drink and you go to bed after a pillow fight.
Come on, who's thinking that? Come on.
But
we'll have s'mores.
Exactly.
We'll braid each other's hair and then go to sleep. Come on.
That's not how it is. Guys like sex, and if you invite them back to your room or you come back to their room, they're going to think that's what you want. Come over, see my etchings. Yeah. I blame Hollywood for it too, because in movies, the guys are always like, no, that's all right. I'll sleep on the floor. Bullshit. He's going to have his dick out as soon as you get in the door. Pillow wrestling is more like a
I do have to admit, like Harvey Weinstein, I'm not saying he wasn't a scumbag. He was clearly a scumbag.
He is a scumbag.
But his moves, like that man had no game. Like when you hear the recordings, none. It's like, well, please, oh, just oh, come on, baby. Like there was nothing masculine power about the guy. You know what I mean? It was all begging, and it was real hard to listen to.
I think there are severe allegations against Harvey, actual rape, and if those ones he needs prosecuted for. The ones where somebody just sucked his dick for a movie role, that's on you. You could say no, but I needed that job. There's no waitressing jobs out there. I hear there's a bunch of them. You didn't need that job. You wanted that job, and you're willing to suck a dick to get it. That's not his fault. That's yours.
And that's the problem with powerful men in Hollywood, Monkey. Don't you see? They're using
I know.
They're using their male privilege to, et cetera, et cetera.
To bang skanks. Yeah, that's horrible. You know what?
Let me present the other side of it. The amount of women that I've worked with, 'cause I've worked retail and management, and the amount of women that complain about their female bosses and really as a guy sitting there listening to it, and this is just my opinion, it's anecdotal, 100% anecdotal, right? The whole time I'm listening to them tell their stories about like what a bitch their boss is, who's another female, right? It's just like, you're not used to not getting away with stuff. I hear you, because your boss isn't a man.
Yeah. And not to mention, female bosses will hit on dudes a lot. Stuff that they shouldn't do. I have trauma.
You sound like it.
I do. I've never been offended at sexual harassment. I'm like, oh, thank you, but no, I'm married. I appreciate it. I don't blame you. I've seen myself, but
I mean, if you watch Mad Men, it's like, I wonder what I would think in that kind of situation. Like, yeah, okay, I've had female bosses say flirtatious things that are like, especially like office parties when the cheap box wine is flowing. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And they'll make flirty comments, especially raw comments. But like, I've never, you watch Mad Men, and it's like, hey, Jiggles, come on in the office here. We got some notes that we need you to take. No one's ever called me bulgy or whatever the hell, like whatever the male.
I had my junk grabbed, dude.
Well, I've had that happen, but only at a bar. That happened at work to you?
Yes, and more than once. I'm a very flirty guy, and sometimes that comes off wrong. It's like, no. That's not what I meant. I was just trying to get on your good side so I get a good review. Calm down. You ever see the movie Horrible Bosses?
No, but I saw the movie was ripped off of Swimming with Sharks.
I've never seen that. In Horrible Bosses, Jennifer Aniston plays an overly sexualized boss who keeps trying to bang one of her employees. And if I was him, I'd have nailed that shit. He wasn't married yet. He was only engaged. I'd have tapped that ass repeatedly and gotten a promotion. Because I'm a dude, and that's what we do. Let's see. Monkey, I bet you'd like, or you would be offended if your woman boss was post-op and looked like Justin Dennis. I wouldn't. I've had gay men compliment me, and I don't get offended by it. I've had. Did he feel my ass? I can't remember. I just say thank you, no thanks. I don't see what's so wrong with that. I appreciate it. I thank you for the compliment, but no, I'm not really interested. I appreciate it. It doesn't matter if they're pretty, ugly, pre, post. I don't know that it's a compliment. Like, hey, I'd like to fuck you. I thank you for that, but no thanks.
Jack Cochran asked Box Wine, what kind of ghetto trash party were you going to? It was an office party. Yeah. And they went full on ghetto with the Walmart party platter and the box wine. Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with boxed wine. If you're going to drink wine, you might as well go cheap. I learned that from a wino. I got asked out once by a guy, and Jay Reynolds says he was just joking about that. I get that, but there are people who think that really, like, well, if a man came on to you, you wouldn't think it was cool. Like, yeah, I've been whistled at by guys. I'm like, thanks, fellas. Back at you. I just keep going with my day.
Adam Mangold said, I got asked out by a guy once. I knew a guy that went to a gay bar because his gay friend said, well, we're just going to go in for a minute. You know how that is, right? And it never turns into a minute. They're there for like, an hour and a half. And he said, and I didn't get hit on once. He's straight. He went with his gay friend to this gay bar. He goes, no one looked at me. No one offered to buy me a drink. I'm not gay at all, but I walked out of there with my self-esteem down through the floor.
Shot, yeah.
I was like, I could see that actually. It's like, what's wrong with me? I'm a catch. It's
Lena Dunham, who has bitched as much as any feminist about, the male culture and all that bullshit, went and threw a fit because Odell Beckham didn't look at her at a party where they were saying he probably thought I was ugly. Well, he probably did, but that's not why he didn't talk to you. He was on his phone, and you even said that. But yeah. that became the big, how dare he not look at me? Like, you're bitch, make up your fucking mind. And here's the thing. It's because there are, when it comes to women at least, the difference between sexual harassment and, oh, he's so funny, is how cute you think he is.
Oh, come on, that's the old, I don't think you're wrong, but that's the oldest thing in the world. I'm going to go outside with this titty shirt on, this cleavage, but I only want the guys that I'm personally attracted to looking at me. And it's like, yeah, but every other man with vision is going to see it, right?
When I was much, much younger, I worked at McDonald's. McDonald's was my first job. And I became a manager at the place I worked at. And I actually had to have a conversation, a sexual harassment conversation with a guy for him making the exact same comments to a girl that I had made to her.
Huh.
Yeah, that's a freaky place to be. It's like, dude, you can't talk to her like that. And the whole time I'm thinking, I've said worse. But he was creepy, and I'm not. And that's what it comes down to. I'd complain about not getting hit on, but Polydub and Ranting Monkey overinflate my ego enough as it is. Look, I saw you. You're cute as hell.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
They had McDonald's back then. Fuck you, Jackie. Oh, God, you guys on stream again? Damn, don't act like you're not loving it.
They're wearing a whore's uniform. Oof.
That's a
Jesus.
That's a Dave Chappelle joke. He's talking about, look, that doesn't mean you're a whore, but you are wearing a whore's uniform. He goes, if I was standing on the street corner wearing a cop's outfit and you ran up to me, I need help. And I'm like, hey, Just because I am wearing this does not mean I am a police officer. Like, yes. Oh, God. What is this? McDonald's was actually one of my favorite jobs. Of all of the jobs I've had, McDonald's and Walmart were my favorite just because of all of the customer interaction. I like dealing with people.
I got a question. So you worked at Walmart and you worked at the front end. Does that, I don't know if that includes sporting goods at all, or is that a completely separate section?
Separate section.
Is it? Because I mean, the ammunition is locked up, and
yes,
rightfully so, and should be. But goddamn, when you try and find the fucker with the key for the fucking ammo lockup, man, that guy's always on break, and it's only one person, and he's always hard to find, and you got to ask around like the aquarium people and the fucking the pharmacy people. Do you know where the guy is for sporting goods? And they get on their little walkie talkies and can never find the. Sorry, it's a personal pet peeve of mine. It just.
Well, what happened is years and years and years ago. Let's see, I'd probably been working there 3 years at this point. They brought in a new guy near the top of the ladder, and he decided when Sam ran the place, you had a department manager for every department, and you had people that worked in all of those departments. And the idea was that the people would those people would become very good at their jobs and be able to answer customer questions, and that there would always be somebody there. Well, this guy decided that this was redundant. So what they did is they kept the department managers who only worked at that time 8 to 5, Monday through Friday. And everyone else just became a floor associate. Instead of a sporting goods associate, they became a floor associate. And what they were able to do with that is, well, you got a floor associate, they can cover toys and electronics and all of these departments. So you ended up, instead of having, say, 20 people on the floor, you have 5. So yeah, you can blame corporate America for that.
My slow access to ammunition. Okay.
Yep. Anything you need there. At our local store, the worst thing is when people want to get fish, they will stand there for days waiting for somebody to show up to get them. Because one, even though anybody can do it, it's not like the ammunition where you have to have the key and everything. Nobody wants to do it because they look like morons trying to catch fish. Hey, Squish here.
Passed up the top of the screen, Satsu showed up and said, Squishy says hi to everyone.
Hey, Squish. Hey, Satsu. Oh, there it is. Satsu, let me know if you want in. Man, we've been all over the map again. That's why I like these conversations. They go everywhere. Oh yeah, there's a great in that argument over the Senate and the Electoral College, somebody posts the county by county results of the election, and you just see red everywhere. I keep trying to tell people that the country is not as liberal as everyone thinks. And it's not. There are pockets, and they tend to be the huge urban areas of liberals. And the rest of the country's like, nah, fuck that stupid shit. Which is why we should be a republic, so everybody can run things their own way. Okay.
Excuse me.
The Quartering is saying to somebody, please also apologize for calling Richard Spencer a Nazi.
On Twitter?
Yeah. Richard Spencer may not be a Nazi, but he's wearing a Nazi's uniform. Irate Bear, dude, where you been? You got to get the team back together. What are you doing, man?
Hey, Bear. Excuse me.
Maybe if you get around to making me an honest woman, I'd flirt with others less, Polly, says Chaos.
See, I read that and I thought, make her an honest woman. I don't like, I mean, I've heard that phrase in fiction. I've never actually had it leveled at me, though. It's
don't you know what that phrase means? Get married, damn it.
Put a ring on it?
Put a ring on it. Lady Monkey is a huge flirt. I don't mind. Because she comes home with me. Plus, I would be a huge hypocrite if I was upset with my wife being a flirt. Irate Bear says someone should make an honest woman out of him. I've tried, man. You won't hold still.
Do you have any idea how much like people on Discord and other minions like ecstatically enjoyed Irate Bear yelling at me
over the thumbnail?
I don't think the subject matters that much, honestly. I think they just it's whatever he's gonna yell, as long as it ends with comma Polly exclamation mark, they're okay
It was
with
the way he said it. It was fucking funny as hell.
It really was. my favorite part was I was like, well, I didn't realize that the file name for the thumbnail had anything to do with people being able to find you on YouTube. What don't you understand about a search algorithm, Polly?
Now, I am sending links to a few people. You do not have to come in if you don't want to, but there's links if you want to join. So we'll see. We're getting rid of the Senate, and I'm in support of Charles Manson. What else have I fucked up today? And I still don't think women's vote should count. There we go.
And we're worried that you might be edging towards the repealing the 6th. I personally think your ultimate target is the 3rd. Yes.
Yes. I'm going for all of them, but I'm starting in the middle.
There's only going to be one clause, the free speech clause of the First Amendment left.
That's right.
Everything else.
I don't even care about the press clause. Fuck them.
Well,
oh my God. Did you see Jim?
Don Lemon really dragged that one through the mud, didn't he?
Oh God, that guy.
I haven't carried on about my beef with Don Lemon. Oh, you don't even know. I can't stand that guy. Oh,
he's
man.
A moron. I saw Jim Acosta. Did you see his tweet whining about the press being bullied?
Yes. Yeah. This guy who at like nuclear peace talks with North Korea that weren't achievable in the previous 8 years of the Obama administration and the previous 8 years of the George W. Bush administration. And now you're gonna, are you going to give up your nuclear arms, Kim? Like, fucking hell.
That dude. But Don Lemon, man, I don't think, to me, he's very much like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, whatever fucking name is.
Santa Rita. Everyone forgets that.
Santa Rita.
Yes.
Oregano. Just an idiot. I mean, there's times where I see him talking, like, oh, he's making sense. And then he'll just like 180 into Moronville. And like, how did that happen?
The interesting thing about some people that I know that are into journalism school, the idea of reportage, using the French word, that just reporting, right? Mm-hmm. Where journalists use narrative aspects of fiction in their journalistic endeavor, where it's like, let's say they're interviewing somebody. We've all read stories like this, especially in the past. Oh, fuck. It's been like 20, 30, 40 years since reportage has become part of journalism. Mm-hmm. So I walked into the diner and there my interview subject was sitting in a rumpled gray suit. Like, you know what I'm talking about now? Like, it's not just like it begins with a question and then an answer and then a question and an answer. They describe it in a narrative format. It's gone so far where you've got guys like Acosta who literally make themselves the center of the story.
Mm-hmm.
And they've got the nerve to say, well, I don't really know how to deal with celebrities. And they describe people as celebrities. And it's like, you do realize that in the modern era, cable news personalities are celebrities as well, right?
Well, even in the old era, I mean, the local newsman was a celebrity if you got to meet him. I mean, not to the point that it is today where, you know, somebody like Wolf Blitzer is a household name, but your local, even the local weatherman, when he would go around to different schools and give talks, and it was like, that's the dude on TV. I mean,
I think it's a little different to the point where it's like, I'm a reporter activist, where those things, in my opinion, should be oxymorons. Like, you know, the short giant, like what? Like that, the mind should rebel.
But see, that's the thing. We've come to a point where that's what they do. And they're not even hiding it anymore. And we saw this really we saw a little bit with George Bush, where they started coming out like, no, and actually it started, I guess, with Fox News, because Fox News came out and like, look, we are the opposition to what you normally see. And they didn't have a primetime news show. Their prime time was nothing but nothing. Hey, Chaos, how you doing?
Good. How about you?
Oh, living the dream.
How are you boys?
Chaos in the morning. Nice.
Chaos in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Except
I
it's
literally just woke up too.
Late afternoon here. But anyway, Fox, their whole prime time was nothing but punditry. And from there, we saw just cable news getting worse and worse and worse to where now they don't even hide any bias. They might as well be wearing shirts with their political affiliation on them.
Yeah.
What's up, Satsu?
What up, Dal?
Oh, Satsu. Man, I'm happy that we finally get to stream together. Don't drop out, man. I was kidding.
Well played.
You know what? We might as well make this a thing.
I think that's what he was doing.
Polly the amnesiac. Like, yeah.
He only forgets black people.
I'm colorblind. What do you want from me? I don't see you. You're kind of.
Oh my god!
You're not the only one, Satsu.
Oh man,
that is hilarious.
I get forgotten all the time too, Satsu. It's okay.
It's okay, Chaos. We are the forgotten ones.
Mm-hmm.
And how are you two this morning, afternoonish?
I am. I'm good. I slept good. Squishy was holding me hostage for a while, but I managed to escape. So here I am.
And Chaos, I'm always curious because everybody else calls you Eve and I call you Chaos. It's weird. Tell them to stop that. How are you today? Enjoying your morning so far?
Oh yeah. I like I said, I just woke up, so I'm great.
Don't forget, he regularly calls me Mustafa. Yes, I don't do anybody's names right. And I didn't realize you were Mustafa.
Hold on, Mustafa's in chat?
No, Deco's in chat and said he regularly calls me Mustafa.
Oh, okay.
Mixing up your African Americans there.
I don't see color.
Tell them apart. Just admit it, Monkey. It's fine.
Their names all look the same to me. Thank you, Cryptic. A cripple, a black guy, a trans lady, missing a few more minority groups, and you can form Rainbow Voltron. Oh, I used to love Voltron as a kid.
See, Paulie ruins it though with his cishet whiteness. So
he does. He just drags it all down.
Oh, I know. And my God, my heritage is English. Does it get any worse?
Oh, you are white.
Yeah, man.
You're like see-through white.
I believe you qualify as white.
White.
I only enjoy overcast days. It's true.
Bear sent me a message, said, just woke up, but please tell please tell Polly to make a thumbnail.
It's never
I can't do it as well as you do, Bear.
Oh, you know you should get to do the impression. Far suits me. She was doing the impression of Bear yelling at Polly on stream the other day, and I was like, "This is the highlight of my evening."
It's what's funny about that. It's just she's Australian, and the Australians don't like the English, but she does a incredibly impressive impression of an English woman.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I got a tweet we have to talk about. I don't know if you guys heard me, Polly. I think we talked about this yesterday. A woman tweeted out, "Please, if I ever die from getting an illegal abortion, drop my body off at Senator Collins' house and let it rot."
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Oh, hang on. This gets better. I responded, "Try not having unprotected sex. P.S. It'll help keep the AIDS out of you too."
Oh shit.
To which somebody else has now replied just moments ago, "You are so ignorant that you think abortions only arise from unprotected sex with strangers. You shouldn't talk out of your ass about women since you obviously know nothing about us." What part of that did I say strangers?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. Okay. So,
Susan, I wish people would. Susan Collins is not your enemy. Like, I've had a lot of disagreements with Susan Collins and the way that she's rolled, but her speech, if only to bring some kind of ignored sense of rational argumentation, her speech was awesome. It was just like, look, I've decided to do this. Here are the reasons why. And ultimately that landed me at no choice but to make the decision of X, regardless of the fact that I found Dr. Ford's testimony believable. That's not how we do things here. Done. And I was like, okay, I don't agree with everything you said, but that's reasonable. At least there's something I can put my feet on and sink my teeth into. All right. And I for people to be, dead, aborted, infected bodies at her doorstep. What the fuck? Like,
well, it's been funny, the reaction that I've been seeing to this, because as you guys know, I dabble over in the deep depths of the Facebooks.
Oh dear God, yes you do.
And it is just as crazy over there. Like, people are literally talking about hanging this bitch. Like, so yeah. Just like straight up, like she is going to pay for the horrible that she has wrought. And I'm just like, well, what exactly did she do? But people are not happy.
Put this here just in case they delete. There we go. I responded, when did I say fuck all about having sex with strangers? I get it, you're highly emotional, but perhaps have a man read your tweets before posting them to avoid looking silly.
Shit.
Oh my God.
There is nothing ban-worthy about that tweet.
You're still gonna get in trouble.
I know.
Well, monkey. I'll see you in detention.
That's right. You're still in trouble for calling a cunt a cunt.
Yeah, I got 4 days.
Oh, 4? I thought you got a full week.
I did. Get a full week. I got 4 days left.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. About Collins, to me, I don't understand why just her. 50 senators voted to, advance Kavanaugh.
I don't think that's really that hard of a guess, because she is a very liberal Republican and they were kind of counting on it. And so it's a betrayal that they didn't do what they felt she should have done.
Well, yeah, you're right. They started the, we're going to send money to your opponent before the Ford allegations ever came out.
Oh, did you see the tweets about that? Where people are like, the money to your opponent is up to X amount of dollars now. How does it feel? BTFO, Collins, like, whatever.
Yeah. It's fucking stupid. And you know what? You guys might pick that one up, but you're going to lose other seats. What about Manchin over in West Virginia? He's actually a Democrat. Why not drop it off at his house? He voted for Kavanaugh.
Because she's a woman, which makes it especially egregious. Egregious.
Egregious?
Egregious.
Egregious.
Egregious. Okay, I misunderstood. I thought you guys meant egregious, but I was wrong on both counts.
That's what I said.
Wait, Matt Mellon says Pat got hit because he called some crazy girl a cat. I don't understand.
No, he called her a cunt too. Yeah,
he called her a cunt. Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Apparently, that's not nice to say.
Hold on. Adam Mengold saying Faith Goldie is live. It's a train wreck. Ouch. What's going on? I don't know if you guys know Faith Goldie is running for mayor of Toronto. And I've been catching hell left, right, and center. And
she wasn't allowed in the debates. And what was she doing last night? I forget. Or maybe it was this morning I saw it. Was she going live to attack? I forget. Bear!
Imagine my shock, monkey forgetting something.
What did I? Oh, shut up.
Hello, how are we?
Good. How's things across the pond?
Oh, I don't know about the rest of the island, but I've just woken up from a lovely nap, and I'm very well, thank you.
Oh my God, monkey! I gotta read this this post to you that I saw on this feed over on Facebook about Kavanaugh. It was hilarious. Basically, it was this chick saying that how could anybody feel that Kavanaugh is worthy when his temperament rivals even that of Donald Trump,
or
some
God.
shit like that. I'm like, he got mad one time. Okay, I'm curious. What about him as a candidate do you like? What qualities? His temper tantrums rival our POTUS, and you really think he should have a lifetime position? And I'm just like, so is everything this dude has done up to this point just completely irrelevant? Like,
it is. Notice every time they talk about his temperament, they never talk about any case he was a part of. It's about him being accused of sexual assault.
Yeah, and this wasn't even him like doing his job. This is like outside of it. He has as far as I know, a pretty clean record overall of well over what you say, 20 years he's been doing this.
Yeah.
Of just doing his job generally correctly, and nobody really had a problem with that. And all of a sudden, he got mad once. His temper tantrums are he's just like Donald Trump. Like, what? Okay.
Yeah. All right. The only thing he did was correctly point out that it was a fucking hit piece and defend himself. He did get a little belligerent, I guess would be a great word, when answering some of their questions, but I would have too. And he was nice enough to apologize when they came back after the break for asking the chick if she'd ever blacked out.
Well, it's just 20 years of life work. You've built a family or whatever. Your wife's there. And everybody's like, well, no, it was unacceptable for him to act this way during just a job interview. And I'm just like, this is not just he didn't just go up into this place and they're questioning his, his work. And,
see, that's the thing is when it's convenient for them, it's just a job interview. But then they turn around and will just be like, he should be held to the standard of a court of law. And it's like, what?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Which is it?
Yeah. And that's what pissed me off too. Cause they're like, I'm like, somebody is literally accusing him of being basically a rapist or a sexual assaulter. His wife is there. His family's on the line. His job's on the line. And everything he worked for is in jeopardy. Like that's not just a casual event. Like just a job interview. I'm like, no, there's way more at stake than just that. But, whatevs. They would have all been fine, though. Everybody I talked to who I said that, no matter how long they worked for something or worked to build something or their family being at risk and being torn
I have a special guest. Hang on a second. Okay, go ahead.
Perfect.
Hello. Hello.
Hello, little one.
Does she have on headphones?
You can talk to
him. She's shy.
Oh, she's gone. Are you stealing stuff off my desk?
She's so adorable.
Like grandma.
Like grandma? Grandma doesn't take things off. Oh, you just wanted that. Okay. Mm-hmm. Are you still going to talk? Do you need the headphones back? Okay, but you got to talk. Tell them, what'd you do this morning? Did you have donuts?
I had donuts.
What kind? Had
donuts. It's great.
I want a donut.
You are a donut.
Does he sound like Peppa Pig's daddy?
Hello, Peppa. Jumping up and down in muddy puddles.
She's like, kill it with fire.
Muddy puddles.
All right, let me see here.
Peppa does.
Peppa does?
Mm-hmm.
And Peppa's daddy too, right?
Mm-hmm.
And everybody.
I'm dying over here. She's too adorable.
I know.
Are you just going to listen? Can I have the headphones back?
Nope.
No?
I gotta say one more.
What are you going to say?
Hello.
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 Say bye.
Grandma's gonna go upstairs. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Are you going with Grandma? Okay, love you. There you go.
It's super broody over here, like.
Sorry for anybody she deafened there.
He said, somebody in chat says, hey, little monkey, what's your views on Kavanaugh?
It's just like that Umbrella Guy's stream. He's got a 3-year-old daughter, Elizabeth, and he puts her on stream, and it's shameless because it melts the heart of every red-blooded male listening. You know what I mean? And it's like, Say hi. I'm Elizabeth. And it's like everyone's like, oh. And all of a sudden, the super chats start pouring in. You know.
And what's Monkey doing wrong? I haven't seen a single super chat since maybe
Yeah.
he was on the stream.
Damn.
You cold-hearted monkey listeners. This
You guys don't like children? Female children at that. What do y'all
You should all
support,
be ashamed
Kavanaugh?
of yourself.
You hush. I'm working my game here.
Okay.
Look, she loves ramen noodles, and I need ramen noodle money. Yeah, thank you, Nuts. There's my Streamlabs. It is up if anybody would like to donate that way. If not, there's a handy little donation button right there. I don't even remember what we're talking about.
Bring down the third.
Pancakes.
Give Monkey money.
Yes.
Monkey rhymes with money. Alfie, come here. Come here. Because I told you to. Stop asking why of everything that I say.
Why?
Come here. Come here. All right, say hello, ranting monkey.
Hello, Ranting Monkey.
Hi, Alfie. How are you?
Monkey says, how are you? How are you?
Tired.
How are you?
I am good, thank you.
Are you okay?
Are you okay?
No. Are you okay? Shut up, dog!
Alfie, does your dad jump up and down in muddy puddles?
I'm going to put the headphones on him so he can hear what you're saying. Hold on. Hold on, let me adjust this headset. Right, okay, he can hear you now.
Hi,
How
Alfie.
are you?
I'm good. How are you, Alfie?
Fine.
Are you having fun today?
Yeah.
What were you doing before your dad interrupted you?
I played toys.
Oh, what toys were you playing? What toys?
Not toys. Only watching.
Oh, okay. What were you watching?
Beyond Soda and The Great Race.
Oh, okay. Has your dad ever jumped up and down in muddy puddles?
No.
He really needs to. I think he'd have more fun.
Jacob's like so many kids.
Kids are awesome.
Somebody's trying to bark. Shut up!
He sounds like his dad. That's awesome. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Oh, but he's too good. How did you manage to lose the headset from your head, boy? Right. Get off it. Get off it. There we go.
I can't believe he yelled at the dog.
That was amazing. That was beautiful. You sound just like your dad. That's awesome.
Oh my god.
Satsu, you smell of poo.
No, don't you dare.
Trent says Grand Monkey meet Alfie on stream. Yes, it's a little bear, not a mini bear. Alfie, you still there?
Yeah.
What's your dad doing right now?
Recording.
Tell him he needs to bark at the dog.
Shut up, dog!
Oh my goodness.
You sound just like him.
That was
Oh my
gold.
God.
Hey, Alfie, tell your dad to get a real job.
So Joey, okay?
Hey, stop shouting, boy.
Real quick, thank you, Flatulent Badger. Ramen noodle money for the month. Thank you. And Red Fawn, thank you. For cute kids who don't listen. And Eve, thank you. Oh my God, that baby is so cute. Both of these children are adorable.
Wait.
I just burped.
Yeah,
Alfie.
He says, pardon me.
Alfie,
What?
Right.
No.
are you gonna?
They're off.
No.
You're terrible. Worst streamer ever.
I want to talk.
You made him come talk.
Yeah, and now he can go because he's just stood there. Just
He's just trying to be like you, Bear. I mean,
He sounds so much like you when you yelled at the dog, man. That was fucking amazing.
shut up, boy.
just runs away screaming. It's fabulous.
You know what you should have done? You should have had him yell, "Polly, make a thumbnail."
Oh, that would have been a good one. What?
You people need to stop reminding me of my perpetual bachelorhood. It's awful. It's mean.
Make a thumbnail, Polly.
It's easy to make a baby. Just make one.
Don't look at me. I can't help you there.
Well, Monkey, you're the guy who says don't stick your dick in crazy. I'm getting conflicting messages here.
They're not all crazy. Well, okay, they are all crazy. That's why they don't deserve a vote that counts.
Come here, I want to touch your bum.
I want to talk to your bum.
Touch your bum.
That's even worse.
I was talking to Vanilla Bear.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking to the baby.
Give me your booty!
Dear Lord. David Bishop responded to my original tweet about try not having unprotected sex, saying, I always assume people who say this thing haven't had much sex in their life. Condoms had like a 20% failure rate during my teenage years. I don't think you were using them right, David.
In other words, I don't know how to use condoms. But let's joke about let's joke about what he said.
Let's get a shopping bag over it.
Yep. I'm still a virgin. Yes.
My 3 kids are so confused.
Yes. My son said to tell you condoms come with instructions.
Condoms come with instructions.
Oh, God. Fucking male feminists piss me off. They're so fucking stupid. If condoms had only an 80%, if they had a 20% failure rate, nobody would fucking use them. They read the box. They even tell you the statistics on how often they work. And yes, they can fail, but it's like 2% of the time. Unless you're not putting them on right, dick nose. He needs to get condoms that fit, not ones that fall. Yeah, he's probably buying Magnums when he needs Asian brand. What is the Asian brand? Is there an Asian brand?
I don't know if there's an
Asian brand.
Squinters.
Squinters.
Oh, that's not right.
Did you know they actually vary by geographic region, the size?
Yeah. They have to, or they'll fall off.
I thought that was hilarious. I mean, I knew Japanese porn wasn't lying to me. Just saying.
I think you're taking live tweeting too literally, Monkey. No, I'm just amusing myself, and hopefully you guys use spermicide. Spermicide, it sounds like something will make sure you have a baby. Don't buy condoms out of the bargain bin.
You said spermicide sounds like something that'll make sure you have a baby?
Yeah.
I can vouch that is untrue.
not spermicide. Spermicide.
Spermicide? Yeah.
Japanese porn never lies. Yeah, you ever notice that in Japanese porn when they not that I've ever seen it, but they have to block out the actual intimate act. It only takes like 2 little boxes to block that out.
Well, you can just search for uncensored and get the full
I'm okay.
Depressing truth for Japanese men.
Isn't it all Asian men?
I don't know. I've never seen Szechuan porn.
Do they have Chinese porn? I'm sure they do somewhere.
Is that where they pour Szechuan sauce on the? Oh, never mind.
Yes, it is.
Measured in pixels. That's right.
Oh, okay.
It's a region in China. A big one.
All right. I'm gonna have to go here soon, but I'm not done yet. I don't know how long Little Butt's here, but she's upstairs helping Grandma do dishes like a good little girl. She thinks doing dishes is like the most fun thing ever. And if I could teach her to wash them right, I'd just let her do them all the time.
Okay, here's my weird thought for the day. Have you ever heard of virgin boy eggs?
Say what now?
No.
I know.
No.
We were talking about Szechuan province. That's where they're from.
What is it now?
Virgin boy eggs.
You're trying to end the stream on a bad note? That's what this is.
It's a real thing.
No, it's a real thing. We don't have to talk about it.
Well, Monkey asked what it was, so now I got to tell him.
Yeah, now you got to tell him, Polly. Good job.
Inquisitor and I were in Discord. We were both drunk, and we were trying to find.
Wait. Hold on. Right, no, say it now. Say it.
Make a thumbnail. Polly.
Good boy. Right, now go on, clear off.
All right, just end the stream now, Monkey, so that way that's a good note we end on.
I want to know.
I've got all sorts of generations telling me off over this. It's
You
incredible.
got Zell and Jacob and Lindsay in the chat going, no, we don't want to know, Polly. Don't say it.
Blame Inquisitor. I had never heard of it before he mentioned it. We were trying to find the most inedible thing in any culture's cuisine, and it turned out to be virgin boy eggs won the prize.
That's
And what is it?
Okay, so here's the thing. Is it chicken eggs, right? Hard boiled, okay, shelled, and then they are soaked and fermented in the urine of virgin boys.
I told you you
Why?
didn't want to know.
Right?
I told you didn't want to know.
Because apparently the urine of virgin boys is, the best. But what's more than that? You know how you'll have like a barbecued shrimp being identified by the government of Louisiana as a official distinctive product of Louisiana culture, etc. The government of China in this particular region has identified it as a cuisine icon of the region's cultural cuisine. Virgin boy eggs. They're that hotly sought after and command high prices, etc., etc., etc.
That sounds disgusting.
Uh-huh.
This is one of those times where I have to ask, who first thought of doing that?
Good question.
It's like,
who thinks, this egg would be better if it's soaked in a virgin boy's pee? Are there a lot of Catholics over there?
I saw that Jack Crocker brought that up. That tells us more about you than it does about Catholics, Jack. I'm just putting that out there.
Cryptic, thank you. Asians can get their junk stuck in zippers in their own.
Oh.
Catholic priest. Yeah, that is a weird. I don't know how to process that information.
Do you want to hear the next part? Because there's more.
Sure.
And then they come on them.
No, there's this is where it gets sad, honestly.
Ferment them inside their anuses.
There's an infection. There's a biological disorder / infection that young children can have, whereby one of the indicative traits of it is that urine ends up smelling sweet. It is a lethal disorder that these individuals have, and that's sad. I'm not even trying to crack jokes right now. It's sad. And in addition to having a very pale pallor to their skin, their urine also ends up having this very sweet aroma to it. It's because they're passing a lot of glucose and stuff that the body needs, and that's one of the reasons that they're dying, because they're passing this glucose, and that's why it's sweet. Anyway, that urine is the most hotly sought after to make virgin boy eggs.
Okay, can we get the children back to wipe this memory?
So they seek out kids suffering.
Excuse me.
They can collect their urine for the sake of the extra sweet virgin boy
Why are
eggs.
we still talking about this?
Because Monkey asked, it's his fault.
If anybody cares, I checked out a long time ago. Satsu's playing Final Fantasy 14.
This is why no one comes on the Minion streams anymore, Polly, because you're there talking about virgin boy eggs.
No, not at all. This is my retort when people tell me off every Christmas for making chitlins. Okay, listen, that's not even.
Let's talk about that instead. Let's talk about that instead. Jacob says, "Sweet piss is not something I want to know about, Polly."
Well, you blame
Damn
me.
it, Polly! Can you stop talking about sweet piss, Polly? Just 5 fucking minutes, Polly.
Sweet piss. Who wants a t-shirt that says sweet piss on it?
I'm good. I'm going to pass.
So I put the challenge out there. Do better than that. Find a nastier kind of cuisine that is culturally prized somewhere in the world that is worse than that.
I don't know, man. I'm still trying to get over vagina bacteria yogurt.
Oh yeah, that's not good either.
Oh, what about the vaginal yeast bread?
Oh God.
I don't know. The government hasn't identified that as a item of cultural significance yet.
It gives it that extra rise, you know?
Yeah, he's not talking about just weird things people have made once or twice. This is a what the region's known for. Come have piss eggs.
Try our piss eggs.
Bacon and piss eggs.
Bet you can't have just one.
Sweet piss eggs. That's nasty.
Yeah, we can't end on this. We need something else. We can't end on piss eggs.
Can't we? I feel like that's what this society needs right now. They need a stream to end on piss eggs to make up for all the shit that's been going on in the world.
See, chat's personally associating me with these piss eggs now. I wasn't even the one.
This is your fault.
You introduced them all to it.
Well, I was trying to pass along my fucking mental trauma that Inquisitor induced to me. Okay.
Why, Jack? Why? Singing linked in chat, Semenology, the Semen Bartender's Handbook.
Oh, I've seen that before, yeah.
Why?
Like, is that what I think it is?
Yes.
Jesus.
Did you guys see the story of the bisexual photographer tried to normalize period blood using sex? Yeah, we talked about that yesterday, didn't we?
I unfortunately saw the picture this morning. It was one of the first things I woke up to.
Yeah.
And almost fell out of my goddamn bed.
There's actually more pictures if you go to the story, because the first one you see is the chick. She's looking all stoic and got blood all over her face, like she's had a bloody nose.
Bitch looks like she went down on a pizza.
Yeah. But there's another one where there's these two girls laying in bed, all cuddled up, and the one's left arm is out, and if you look at her hand, it's covered in blood. There's a bunch of really freaky shit. Here's the thing. Period blood is a waste product, and if you want to have sex during periods, that's up to you. Fine. But stop pretending it's no big deal.
Monkey just sounds sad.
I am sad because it's stupid. This women's empowerment shit to the point where periods are like they're perfect.
There are people bailing on the stream now because of the subjects.
That's right. Get out. No, I'm just kidding. Stay here. We got to talk about periods for a minute. No, women have periods. It's a natural thing, but there's a lot of natural things that are gross. Snot is natural. It's gross.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear about snot sex.
And stop making food out of your bodily waste items. Jesus.
Why do you want to bring it back to that? We're trying to get away from that. Do you realize your piss eggs are so nasty that we were trying to make things better by talking about period sex?
Meaty.
I object to them being called my piss eggs.
They're your Polly's piss eggs.
Oh no, you've been called Polly piss egg by several people in chat already.
Piss egg? Dude, that's perfect.
I was hoping to let it pass by. Thanks for calling attention to it.
Hey guys, by the way, his Twitter handle is Polly_Dub. So everybody tweet that at him.
Polly piss egg. # Polly piss egg.
Vaginal jam.
Go follow him on Twitter and tweet it at him and say, "Hey, Polly
thanks,
piss egg."
Satsu. I thought you would checked out, man. You got nothing to say, and then all of a sudden you're encouraging this shit.
Oh, it doesn't matter.
Vaginal jam.
It doesn't matter. You're gonna forget me anyway.
That's right. You'll forget about him as soon as this ends.
Yeah, you won't even remember this conversation. So
I'm going to bring up Stacey Vaginal jam every day for the rest of the week, Polly. I'm going to tweet at you every day. just remind you that piss eggs and vaginal jam exist.
Sweet Polly's piss eggs. Yes.
Well, Stacey Gardner brought up, my family would love your chitlins. I can't guarantee that, but I would like to think that they would. But it's a huge process, man. It's an all-day effort to clean chitlins, but it's worth it.
Clean the fuck out of them things. The only person I would trust cleaning them was my grandmother because she would take all damn day. I'm like, if it don't take you like 4 hours, then you ain't cleaning them right.
That's right. You buy a 5-pound bag, you're only getting 2 pounds of chitlins out of it. It's because everything else is just going in the garbage. It's all membranes and stuff you don't want to eat. Yeah.
Although we did lovingly call them shitlins.
Okay, yeah. With that, guys, I'm gonna go hang out with Grand Monkey while she's here for a little bit more. So, let's see. We will see you guys tonight at 7 for the ARG server over on 2 Cents Plus.
Indeed.
Everybody, you can shill your shit into the chat right now if you want to, while I'm closing us out because I forgot to
vagina jam
to have anybody else do it or to do it earlier.
Oh yeah,
I'm a great host.
In 15 minutes, myself and Drunken Uncle will be streaming 7 Days to Die.
Oh, cool! You guys should check
nice.
that. What channel are you doing it on?
I rate Alex, mate, which I'm actually using to type into the chat there. So
yeah, that's always a good time. It's funny as hell.
Have you
has a channel.
gotten any better at it, Bear?
But no, but that's not the point.
So it'll be entertaining to watch. Good.
Chaos, it is funny as hell. I watched last week, and yeah, those two together. He actually got poor Drunkle killed. So it's coming up to nighttime, and Drunkle wants to stay at the base, and Bear's like, "No, come on, let's go." And Drunkle, for some reason, followed him, and Bear took him into a house, into a basement, right as night falls. And the zombies, of course, start running, and the only thing that ran faster was Bear. Because Bear took the fuck off and poor Drunkle got killed. It was funny as hell. But anyway, guys, yeah, check out that. What time were you guys doing it?
In 15 minutes, mate.
All right, so 15 minutes. Go check that out. It'll be funny. Catch us on 2 Cents Plus. Polly has a channel. Eve, do you do anything on your channel?
I stream occasionally. I might do that today.
There you go. So
No, I
check
just
out.
threw my channel up in chat, and screw you guys that have already started sending in tweets about Polly's piss.
You brought that on yourself, my friend.
No, I wasn't even the one who suggested. I was just trying to raise an interesting story. Screw you, Satsu. Right.
Satsu, Chaos, Bear, Polly, thank you guys so much for joining me. Chat, thank you for the super chats and for joining me. And we'll see you next time. Bye, guys.
Later, everyone.
Fuck off, assholes.